How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AF TV podcast, a show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I am the other host, Tim Wagner. I almost said your name.
That would have been hilarious.
If you go back and listen to that, like there was a moment of hesitation where I was like, I'm the other host, Tim Wagner. Wasn't that pronounced, but trust me, in my head, it was like an eternity, like woof. Skated by that one.
Again?
And then I just like spilled the beans anyways, almost fucked it up, and then caught myself, and then was just like, listen, everybody, I'm an idiot. Oh, dang it. Thought we were going to have a good start, and it was we coming in good, and then I almost said your name instead of my name. Well, one of these days.
One of these days. All right, Tim, let's jump right into it. We wouldn't be a fishing podcast if we didn't talk about the fishing news of the century.
Yep. Oh, you know what the fishing news is already.
You already know. If you came here for the fishing deal, you know what it is. This is the show of fishing and random takes. We hit with the fishing news. We're going to get into the actual fishing topic, but we come at you right away with the fishing news and those fucking cheater, pumpkin eater.
Cheater, pumpkin eater. And they're racist and they hate babies. I don't know if those other two are true, but they're such pieces of shit that I'm fine with spreading rumors. They're racist baby haters. and they put weights in fish.
So if somehow you missed it and you're in the fishing realm, or maybe you found us and you like the random take, but you're like, hey, this fishing thing maybe is a good deal. So these people from Ohio, I'm gonna refrain from words that I'd rather say. Ohio. Well, I don't even know if they're from Ohio. They were at an Ohio fishing tournament, walleye fishing, and eventually they ended up cutting open the fish and they were full of lead weights. All of them. Big
weights too. Big old sucking. Those things, I don't even know what kind of sinkers those are. They're like the size of your hand, man.
I was gonna ask you that. What the fuck kind of weight is that? Like what do you even use that for, man?
The river? Something like that. I don't know. I've never even seen those like when I was like shopping. That's like some stuff you gotta order. Or maybe if you live like right next to a real big raging river and people fish there maybe because they're fishing on the Great Lakes, if there's some sort of a downrigging thing.
Okay.
I am not familiar with what kind of weights those are, but they were massive.
And to be clear,
because they were lead weights.
Anybody who might be stepping in here for the first time, Tim catch big fish. Tim's freshwater up north Minnesota. You catch big fish though. You've gotten some big old muskie. You fish for these big old muskie, and you've still never seen a weight like this.
No. I don't even know what you would use them for. They had to have been like 6 ounces, like a piece.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Which they're lead, so I don't even know. Maybe they're like I don't know. Maybe they'd be a pound, but they were. They were like an egg size. They were like the size of an egg, but they weren't an egg sinker. They kind of look
like an egg too.
Yeah, they like not the shape of an egg, like the size of an egg. Because there are sinkers that'll be like the shape of an egg, but this was the size of an egg.
Yeah,
and I just don't.
It was long. Yeah, you're right. They were longer than an egg. Like they were elongated eggs.
Yeah, they're like a football, but like it's like an egg sized football. But yeah, dude, I don't even understand. And they like had like filleted fish. Like, did you just have stuff on your boat? That's the weirdest thing to me.
Other walleye fillets in there. That means you had to like bring them in their like lunch cooler.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were like, oh, the lead balls. Like, if they've cheated so much, they've figured out that like, oh, the lead balls will like push on their stomach, and you can see that it's balls. So we have to stuff it full of other fish fillets first.
Oh God, you think?
That's the only thing I could think of where they're like, we got to fill its stomach so it's not super obvious,
right?
That it's lead weights. That way, if anybody feels it,
in one single spot. But if you put, it's like if you were to take a blanket and put a ball in the middle of it, it would look fucking weird
Right.
because
But if
it would settle.
but if you put some pillows around it,
Right.
then it might look, if you're trying to sneak out of the house, you can't just put a basketball underneath there. People would be
Right.
like, that's a basketball.
Right.
But you put some pillows next to that basketball, then you're going to have fun that night because they think you're sleeping. No, but it's just, oh man, these people. So did you look into more of this? Because I have looked into more of this.
Before, that's perfect because I do want to go that way. And if this shortens our fishing topic, that's okay because we got to talk about it. That's all there is to it. We got to talk about it. So we're going to go in a little bit. But before, so I was talking to my neighbor, caught onto this. He's into fishing and stuff like that. Not a ton, but he's like, so I watched the whole way in, and then there's a cut, and then it's all these people filming on social media, filming them getting cut open and everything like that. And the first thing he asked is, are walleye tournaments not catch and release?
Oh,
they look dead before they went on the scale.
So I don't think that they are. Sometimes I don't know for sure.
Okay.
Because that's one thing I've seen too, is that they definitely like stay within the slot limit. I don't know if maybe they're just too hard on the fish, or maybe it's just because of where they are. I don't know.
Okay.
I think maybe those fish might have been dead too because they were just like, this is what's going on, or because they're big that they knew that they weren't going to make it. I don't really know.
Okay.
But I know that they like keep within the slot limit too, where like bass are like catch 6 fish. Mm-hmm. I've heard them talk about it before where they're like, we got to get, 4 good ones, and then we'll spend time catching the one over. Because the limit's always like 4, within here, and then you get that one big one.
That one big one. Yep.
Yeah. So, and I don't know what the rules are down there, but I don't know, man. I think those fish do look dead. So that's one thing where they're just sitting there before they cut them open, where I don't know. I really don't know. And so yeah, that's a good question too. I should look more into that because I don't really follow walleye tournament fishing. Like I follow bass tournament fishing somewhat, and I like to walleye fish, but I don't really pay attention to the walleye series stuff. It's not the action's not as constant, It's just like when I'm fishing for walleye, it's like we just talked about it in the sports episode. It's like baseball for me. Walleye fishing is like, I like to do it, but watching it is like, it's not constant enough action.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yep. I can see that. So this might lead into your question, or lead into like the more research that you've done. Because the other question is, what happened between, I think I might know, but do you know why that official decided to finally cut him open?
Oh, because these guys were lying fuck faces.
Oh, okay, yeah, that checks out. I'm writing that down. Yeah.
No, because so I don't necessarily know why they decided to do it this time. I'm assuming it has something to do with the fact that they took first place last year, and that initially they had failed the polygraph test that they make all of the anglers take. Yep. Because this is a serious tournament.
Right.
So the year before, they initially failed the polygraph test the first time that they gave it to him, and then they gave it to him again, and they ended up passing it the second time, and they ended up with like taking the championship. And their integrity was in question that year, where there was even a reporter that had asked them, like, what's going on or whatever, and he had responded that, I'm glad that this got cleared up. I would never cheat. And then they have like a picture of him holding up the championship belt, because this is like the Lake Erie walleye bash or whatever they call it. And I think last year's prize was like $39,000. So they took home like $39,000 between the two of those guys for first place last year.
Yep.
And I think the other part I thought I heard was that because of the way that they cheated and the weight that they ended up having in the one fish, like it was near record size. Like it was almost, and
Oh.
the people were looking at the fish just being
The
like,
overstuff.
your fish do not look like they should weigh that much.
Yep.
Like
That's
these anglers were all serious enough fishermen to look at these fish and they go, dude, how? My fish
how.
look just as big as your fish. How are you beating us by 3-4 pounds, you know?
Right.
So
Yep.
it was some shit like
Exactly.
that. And then because their stuff was already in question and they decided to just go all out, and from the video you can see that they did it to every single fish,
Yeah.
that they just like flew too close to the sun. They're just
Yeah.
like 4
Why
pounds
every fish?
bigger. Yeah, you're that much weight bigger than everybody else. You're just destroying the competition.
Right.
We're all professional walleye anglers, and you beat us 2 years in a row by a considerable amount with fish that look just like the rest of our fish.
Right. Yep.
Bullshit. Cut the fish
Y-
open. Oh,
Yep.
look at these weights. And that's why they're all losing their shit. They're in the background just like, you
Oh my god.
piece of shit.
They were
It's just like,
so
call the
angry.
cops.
That
How many
official, did you
tournaments?
hear him? Did you hear that
Yeah.
official? I don't want anybody to touch these guys. We got to let them get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, oh god. Oh
Did you
god.
see him before like the media got close?
Uh-uh.
Where you can see him in the background just like losing his shit. And you can't hear any of the audio because they're too far away.
Mm-mm.
And then
Mm-mm.
they get closer and he's kind of calming down because he realizes, he's like, oh my God, everybody is
Everybody's
just as
feeling it.
mad as I am.
Right, right.
These guys are about to get murdered. Like,
Right. I can't rile
straight
them
up.
up right now. Yep.
Because they're not just stealing prize money, they're taking away prize money from everybody else.
Right.
First place is considerably higher than any other place by like a long
Right.
shot. It's not even close.
Sure.
And every place after that is lesser and lesser.
Right.
And these people are sacrificing like time away from their families, money to get all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're trying to get like sponsorship, and when they're only ever coming in at like second place at best because these other assholes are cheating and getting first place every year,
Right. Right.
they're just like, you know, and then you realize, especially probably the people in second place are like,
Yeah.
20,000 more dollars I could have had last year, because that's
Right.
probably what it is, maybe even more than that.
Wow.
Second place might be like 10K, you know?
Right. Which is still a lot of money, but you have to think
Still
that
a lot
that's
of
a big
money,
gap.
but like if the tournament buy-in, because a lot of these tournaments cost a lot of money to get into, if the tournament buy-in's like 2K,
Right.
and then 10, your profit, you're talking $8,000 versus $38,000. You split that between two anglers,
Right.
$4,000 a piece versus $20,000 a piece.
Pretty good weekend.
Real good weekend, but like that's what you live for. Like that's
Right.
that's like
You depend on that
game.
money, basically. Like, if you're
Yeah.
good, you're just like, this is how I make my living.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
everything's
I
like running
still
through
like
your head.
guide on the weekends, or I'm still a truck driver
Yeah.
the other 6 months of the year, but
Right.
like,
Yeah.
you need it.
They're probably like, and these guys were, oh, could you imagine being like the sponsors and everything?
Oh god. No.
Like they're probably sitting back and then just like, oh my God.
Yep.
What do we do? Do we
Right.
put out a video?
Right.
To be like, we're disgusted with him. We're not gonna we had no idea.
Right.
Like, and just putting everybody in these positions and stuff.
I know.
I'm assuming he had an Instagram page and then he like deleted it. There's two people. You only see the one guy in the video. The second one has an Instagram page with 45 followers.
45.
And I immediately went on there and followed him. Like, it's like private. And I'm like, just, hey, buddy, try to DM. Hey, how's it going? As soon as he friends me, I'm just going to be like, you piece of shit.
He will definitely not be on the internet for a very.
He's not logging in. I'm probably like one of like 500 people in his inbox. He's just like sitting there being like, "Can you believe it? I've always heard him say no press is like
all press is good press.
All press is good press. But look I'm getting new followers. All right, hey guys, hey everybody." And then as soon as he follows everybody, just so we have the opportunity to actually send him a message because he can't see it now, we're all just gonna be like, die. Fuck you. Because that's so shady. I mean, like, as an angler, I think every single one of us has probably thought about not cheating, but that it's a possibility to be like, dude, nothing really stops anybody from doing this. You could do this. I like you know, just you're like, they could add weight. I don't know how but then you always go like, there's probably like a metal detector or something to stop it, right? And then just no, I guess not. And it's been goodwill, good faith. Everybody is like upstanding citizens until this moment of where just these guys were like, we're gonna almost break the state record in a tournament. We're gonna take all this money. Like, just the dumbest people alive. And I said it to you earlier too when it first came out. What I don't understand for the life of me is that these guys are legit anglers. Those walleyes were not small. They're catching big fish. These were not small walleyes.
No.
And then they just have to cheat. They like fuck up their whole tournament career. Yeah. Probably their hobby, you know?
Or I was wondering about this too, because I know for a fact from following people on the bass cycle tournament, bass, like literally the Bass Masters, you know, when people who fish those bass tournaments, those BASS tournaments, they were probably walleye guides, right?
Yeah, probably.
Fuck.
A lot of these people are guides, yeah, because that's how they make their living when they're not tournament fishing, you know, because walleyes don't have the tournament circuit like the bass guys do. For one part, that a lot of the walleye tournaments are in the cold states that freeze over. Bass tournaments you can start early in the year because you can go down south and just fish the spawn before the lakes are even open up here.
Right.
So yeah, so they're probably screwing up that. You may have to get a whole different profession. I wasn't even thinking about that, but also just your hobby. Like, if I see you, if I see that guy at the launch, if I'm buying bait, if I'm at Cabela's, you see that guy any place, one person recognizes him in Cabela's.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that cheated? That's the guy that cheated. The whole store. Fuck that guy. He goes into a Bass Pro Shops. We're throwing him in the lake. You know, the big fish tank?
He's the big fish tank lake. At the Bass Pro Shops, yeah.
The Cabela's, they have a cap on there. It's like you can't get to the top. But the Bass Pro Shops is like, this is an open tank.
Yep.
And for a while there was a trend for like every 18-year-old douchebag to be like, oh, let's jump in and swim. Like, I can't believe they don't have a top on it. Yeah, they would dive in and like swim and then jump out. My favorite one is like some dude like dives in, swims over, hops out the side where the glass is, and then like tries to like lower himself down and land on the rocks. But guess what, dumb shit? Everything's slippery now. And he eats shit and like screws up his back because he like lands on his ass on the rocks weird, like dunk dunk. Like, yeah, that hurt. I know it did. And then you're kind of like hobbling out, you know, soaking wet, leaving a trail of water behind you. Like, they're gonna find out who did that. And it's just the dumbest trend to just be like, isn't it crazy? Like, one kid does it, like, you know, it's like, can't believe you did that. That's pretty crazy. But then it becomes a trend. Just everything becomes a trend.
Right.
Like eating NyQuil chicken. You hear about that shit? Not trying to go off on a tangent, but that's the dumbest thing in the world.
No,
they're like,
I haven't heard of NyQuil chicken, but after the podcast, I'm going to ask you about fucking NyQuil chicken because that sounds fucking super weird.
Just real quick, I don't even need to get into it anymore. They marinate chicken into NyQuil. It's like green chicken, and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe we're eating green chicken." And it's like,
oh,
that soaks in.
That's even
like
dumber
drugs.
than I thought it was going to be. So, anyways. Back to those guys.
That's all we need to do is people are like, kids are stupid, just real stupid. Yeah. Like these walleye anglers that are out there probably doing the same thing. That's what they're gonna have to resort to.
Yeah,
I cheated, but it was NyQuil chicken's fault. I didn't try. I just went dumb because I was drowsy because of this chicken, the green chicken the kids are eating these days. But all right. Yeah, well, I can't believe it. Cannot believe it. No, I was just again rehashing it because I can't. It's just so unfathomable that somebody that can legitimately fish, and like you're bringing the new point of like they're probably out there guiding and making all their money, and there's you know, like your family, everybody, you tainted everything. All the kids, like your children maybe look up to you.
Right.
Your family members like see you, you know, you got that
Right.
belt, right? You won that
Right.
belt. You're putting that belt on the mantle. You have pictures of you holding it.
Yeah.
Your dad's like, "Go, son, you're the best fisherman." Oh hell! And then like they learn that you're cheating, but I don't know. His dad's probably a piece of shit too.
Right.
They're probably all in the same boat.
That's a really good
I don't know for sure. I just figure that like
I know.
I don't know.
Like to raise a kid like that. I mean, you grow up and you become your own adult and everything, but and I get it, but it's like, gee,
it's stuff happens all over the place. But the other part is that you have two people. Like, where does that idea even come from? You know?
Yeah.
It's like two guys.
Why
just
are both
around,
on board at the same time for the same thing? Like,
oh, we should stick a weight in here. Oh, yeah, funny. We should stick a weight in there. No, we should. Should we stick a weight in there? Oh, should we stick a weight in there? Oh, dude, let's stick a weight in there. Like, how you get two douchebags that are on the same boat? Like, I don't know.
Right.
The same thing with like some of those like serial killer duos out there. I think it's in the same realm. Like, how do you get two people to even bring it up?
Right.
Bro, I like killing people. Oh, dude, I like killing people too.
Right.
You know, it's like, dude,
I like fucking
cheat
people out of a lot of money by just completely rigging a contest.
Yep. You know how I got
me too. You know too.
You're a pretty good angler. You're a pretty good angler too. I got a secret though. You know how I got this point? I stick weight in the fishes. Oh no, dude, for real? I put walleye fillets in the fish. Oh, dude, let's do both. Idiots.
Fucking idiots. So I have to bring up this one last thing is, dude, this made the BBC. Yes. The British Broadcasting Company. It was on because this is such a big deal. There were other things going on. This was like, oh, cheating scandals rock chess, poker, and fishing. And I was like, holy shit, I already know what the fishing thing is. This is crazy. I'm going to click on it and I read it. And of course I get to the fishing thing and it's very much just like in the United States state of Ohio, you know, and they run through it and it's just like, yeah. Those like, that was pretty cut and dry. These other fucking stories look so goddamn stupid in comparison to that one.
Did you hear the chess one though? Did you read that one?
I did. I read it and then it did pop up again because they did a follow up on it. And at first that guy was just like, oh, I cheated online when we were only playing online tournaments. I've never cheated in person.
Yeah. And but did you see how they said that he cheated?
Oh no, it didn't.
Because that's the Magnus Carlsen, right? That thing, or
yeah, you know? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so they're saying that the guy cheated by like using some sort of a code of like vibrations in like a vibrating butt plug.
I thought that was the poker one.
No, that was the chess one.
That was the chess one. Okay, so I mixed them up.
They're saying that there was like a computer program like feeding him the answers through vibrations in his butt.
Yeah, no, they didn't say that. They did say they said a vibrating mechanism.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what they said. I think it might have said a non-visible vibrating mechanism.
Yeah, non-visible because it was in his butt. Just what the hell? Oh man, everybody, it's crazy. That's what I heard. Yeah, I heard everybody being out there just like everybody's cheating and everything.
Yeah. It was pretty ridiculous.
Fish and there's butt plugs, vibrating butt plugs. You're just like, what is happening with this world? Everybody's out there just eating green chicken, cheating with vibrating butt plugs.
Using vibrating butt plugs to win chess tournaments.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know anymore, man. It's all those guys are sitting there. They're just like, oh, for real? You know, I think maybe I could be a chess player too. Like the guys that just cheated in fishing, like, oh, I'm gonna go be a master at chess. Just
would get me one of those vibrating butt plugs.
Could you imagine that's the storyline? Champion fisherman becomes champion chess player, becomes champion poker player. Turns out he's just like the best cheater in the world.
Oh shit! All right, man. Okay, let's get into the housekeeping. Let's switch over to the fishing topic. Let's get into the housekeeping quick. Where this is where I tell you that the podcast is brought to you by Monster Bass and the Real AF TV Patreon page, but we'll talk about that in between the two segments during the break. Remember, this is an every other week podcast. If you're new to the podcast, please share with somebody. We are on Pandora and Stitcher and Amazon. Man, if we're not on something that you're trying to share with a friend, they're like, oh, I only listen on this. It's like, hit us up, because we look at our DMs. We look at all that stuff. Remember, Real AF, Real like Fish and Real, over on the social media. Look us up, Real AF TV, on the social medias. We're not always the at Real AF TV because of the weird underscores and periods and all this stuff. But anyways, Real like Fish and Real. If you just go to realaf.tv/contact, that takes you straight to the contact page. That'll email us. We get those and we do respond. But let us know if you got a friend that is like, oh, I can't find them. It's like, yeah, what? What are you listening on then? We're on everything. We're on YouTube even. Check us out.
Yeah. Come on, guy.
And if you're up to the whole subscribing and reviewing and all that fun stuff, that really helps us out. So please do that.
Yes. Do it, please.
The fishing topic. Do fish poop soft plastics?
Yeah.
That was a question that's been weighing on my mind. I hate that it's going to kind of like coincide with the weights in the belly and stuff like that. That kind of bothered me, but I was like, I already did the research and then these assholes cheated. So
yeah,
fuck them. Fuck that's going to overlap. Like, I did my research and I want to talk to Tim about it. So
these idiots are just screwing up everything. But I think also not just because there's nothing cheating about a fish eating your soft plastic, because that happens. Doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, and that was actually exactly my first thing that I had written down on this, is because you fish soft plastics. I haven't. It's not that, nothing against them, and that we're not going to, I don't think that the topic is going to really go there with like, should you fish softs and all this other shit. Like, no. So I have these two articles. I did more research than these two articles, but an American Fisheries Society, the AFS, is got a scientific paper that is just published, and like, you can just go and look it up. I'll have the link in the YouTube description. And then Patrick Durkin over at the Green Bay Press Gazette had a really good article. And I think I felt like it was very neutral and, came to a conclusion. And it was good stuff. But I encourage you, just go and read the papers, and you're probably going to see those two papers and be like, oh, well, that's Josh's point of view. You can see where he was going. But no, let's have a conversation here.
Yeah.
So that was my first one, Tim. You already kind of kicked it off. Is how often are your soft plastics getting bit off or lost anyway? As someone who fishes, am I putting too much? Do you fish them less than I think you do?
Nah, dude, I fish them a lot.
Okay, good.
I literally have a second tackle bag of soft plastics. The whole bag.
The whole bag is just soft plastic. I have
no trays. I have like 7 different bags sorted in different categories. The thing weighs like 30 pounds, 30, 40 pounds.
Holy shit.
Yeah, of all sorts of soft plastics, because you got like small jerk baits and big jerk baits and small swim baits and crayfish and creature baits and all sorts of different like jig trailers, stuff to have on the back end of, because you add them to other baits a lot too, like
Yeah.
the Z-Man chatterbait. There's like subtle baits that go like that, or you put them on your skirted jigs. And then or like Texas rig stuff. Texas rig is like always soft plastic. That's what your Texas rig, and it's not hard bait.
Yeah.
So lots and lots of soft plastics, and
because they're so versatile, right? Like, because you just said so many different things. It's not like soft worms and like
right.
that's it. It's not like you're just replacing live night crawlers with plastics.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I could take a swim bait, right? Like a soft plastic swim bait, like a 5-inch swim, like the paddle tail swim bait. I can put that on a jig head. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. I can fish it just normal. Mm-hmm. Like cast it out and jig it like I'm jigging normal. I can put it on a swim jig head, cast it out and just reel it in, retrieve it in a straight retrieve. I can put that thing on a chatterbait, which I don't like to do. I like to have the chatterbait be more subtle, like the back end to just kind of move with the bait.
Okay.
Instead of that paddle tail moving and it kind of takes away from the front, I feel like. Yeah. But I could, and people do, but I choose not to. You can put it on spinner bait, like the blades and spinning, to add to that, because a lot of people a lot of people fish a spinnerbait with nothing on it, but you could definitely put one of those tails on it. So like super versatile with a lot of these things, or even just like say it's power bait. You could add that to any of those styles where it's not really giving any action, but it has that scent. So that it has the scent and the feel of like a bait, where if they do eat it, it might hold it for like a second longer. So you have a better chance at setting the hook and actually getting it. It won't spit it the moment it eats it, because spinnerbaits are moving fast. I assume most of the time, like when they're chasing it, if they bite it, they're getting the hook because you're reeling it. It's almost like setting the hook itself.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of like yo-yoing it, you're like letting it flutter back down. Or I think helicopter, because sometimes when you drop it, like a spinnerbait will actually kind of like spin as it's falling.
Oh.
But
because of the blades and shit, like just the way that it's meant to spin, I would assume.
Yeah, just kind of the way it's made, like the one side's like creating more friction than the other, and then the bottom's like weighted. So I think it just kind of But anyways, if a bass comes and bites it, I would think that when it eats it, it's got to feel that like that's just a bunch of metal. It doesn't feel like anything it's ate before. Right. But if it has all that metal with something that smells and tastes a little bit more normal, where it just be like, it's just like, okay, like I ate a stick and a fish, maybe,
right? like it might be that extra half second that you need to react to, and then pow, right in the lip, you get it.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So you're just throwing it on stuff. But going back to, do they eat it? I don't think a lot of times they do. I think they try to eat it. I think they come in and try to grab it. And then I think every once in a while it happens where they will. But I think it's relatively rare, because the majority of the soft plastics I've lost are like shaken off when they try to jump or close to the boat. They're coming to the surface and they kind of like flick their head, and then like the hook is in them. Yep. But the soft plastic can't take the shaking, or it was damaged from the fight already, Because a lot of these soft plastics,
when the bass bit down, or I don't know, even maybe the walleye or whatever, but the toothies, toothy critter got into it and it damaged it enough to where it basically blew out the side of it, I guess. Or
well, I mean, you think about it too, like if you're using anything that's like worm hooked or whatever, like think of it like, like the chicken wings, you got the flat, right?
Okay.
And you can peel. I don't know how you eat the flats for you, but like if you like peel apart the one side and like get rid of that cartilage, you can take the whole thing, put the meat in your mouth and just like pull it out.
Yeah, and just peel it.
the bone. That I think that's what's happening with the soft plastic and the hook, except for the hooks getting stuck on the way out. So like the worm or the jerk bait or whatever happens to be on that worm hook, is initially hooked on the front of the hook and the back, but
Okay.
they eat the whole thing. So when you pull that hook out, it's kind of like pulling the bait off of the hook. And it'll
Oh,
still be on there, but because it's on in like 2 points, I think it screws up that one side. So it's already kind of damaged, and all it takes is them flicking to get it off.
right.
Unless you're using Z-Man stuff, that shit ain't coming off. Z-Man Z-Man has a
Tell me more.
crazy, it's like the Elastec, is what they call it. And it's almost hard to put on your hooks because
What?
it's so damn
Whoa.
stretchy. Yeah,
Really?
they pride themselves on being like 10 times tough. Is
Really?
it lasts forever. I'm not kidding. I got my nephew has
Yep.
one that
Yep.
he'll go in his tackle box and like take it out, and he doesn't rig it right or nothing. He'll just like put it on a hook and cast it. He's like, I got that one worm. And it's like the same worm, and he just like ties it on and casts it out and fishes over and over and over with it. And like he'll catch fish randomly off it every once in a while, and then it goes back in the tackle box. And like every other brand is like, that worm is going to be damaged beyond use like the first couple of times,
Yeah.
and then that's it. And these Elastics, you can catch like 100 fish off of them before they're bad.
Jesus.
It's
Holy
pretty
crap, dude.
insane. They're crazy, but it is kind of hard. Like they show you where a normal one, you like put the hook through and just kind of hook it.
Okay.
This one, when you push like where the hook keeper is on that side,
Okay.
a lot of times you just push it over the hook keeper, which is like almost like another hook, like a metal piece or something
Mm.
that'll hook into it. So if you try to pull the soft plastic off, it
Mm-hmm.
won't go. Like there's something holding it on there.
Okay.
And the elastics are so rubbery and bouncy that if you try to push it over, it like doesn't go in. It's like a,
Whoa.
yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like,
It's too soft, but soft isn't the right word because it has to do
it's,
with the fact that it's squishy.
yeah, it's just too elasticy. Like it just doesn't go
Yeah.
through it. So you physically have to like grab the bottom of the worm and like pull it past the jig head, like grab onto it and like pull it past the jig head to get it
What?
to grab onto it. But once you get it on the hook, like you're golden.
Holy crap.
It's impressive stuff, man.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's crazy that I haven't seen really anybody else duplicate it. Like maybe somebody else knows of some like small time, but none of the big players are out there with it. Like that's my biggest gripe about some of the other ones. Strike King, Rage Tail,
Mm-hmm.
their craws, the Rage craws.
Okay.
They have the two crawfish that will like swim like this as it's going down,
Yeah.
and I get their claws ripped off by sunfish.
That's
They'll just,
that okay, so that's actually kind of what I was not going with this question, but that's kind of where I was waiting to see if it was going to go is like when I say get bit off of I'm talking about like a short strike probably is maybe like
yeah,
a better way to put it, or when you put on a real night crawler,
yep,
minnow even sometimes
yeah,
depending on how aggressive they are, you'll get these nibbles,
oh
and
yeah.
then nothing. And you're like, what the fuck? Oh, I'm on top of a tiny school, a school of tiny sunnies, and they just nip away at it. Does that happen? So that happens with the craws that you're talking about
Uh
with
huh.
soft plastics. Does it
Yeah.
happen often, or does it happen to the worms too? Like, do they nibble away at the worm?
I think it happens a lot more in clear water situations. I think the sunfish
Mm,
can see it from a lot farther distance,
okay.
and they come running just to see, because sunfish are like seem to be way more curious than most fish. Like they're running up
Yeah,
to
I
nip
agree.
on everything. I've said it on here before. I've seen them eat bird shit. Like something just hits
Right,
the
right,
water
right.
and they run up and suck it in, just, and then you see like a cloud of like white come out their gills, and then they shoot it back out, and they're just like, it's crazy. They're just like, oh, that was shit,
Oh,
you
that
know.
was shit.
But they don't tell their friends
Right, right,
because
right. I didn't do that. Mm-mm.
their
Oh.
buddy just runs up and does it too. Can't believe you left that, Earl. And they all do it. Oh, it's shit. It's shit. They're so stupid sometimes.
Yeah. I always
But
think of like a pack of like a freshly born pack of puppies just
Yeah.
that are, well, not freshly born, but the first time that puppies get to eat real food for the first time. And like, that's why you always get the one dog in the pack that is just like voracious. Or like when you get a puppy, you
Yeah.
just put down the food and it's like,
Oh yeah.
and you're like, Jesus Christ, settle down. You know, you're the only one here. No,
Yep.
they don't know they're the only one here. It's
Right.
that pack mentality of just like, devour now or I will get nothing.
That happens with bass sometimes. You can get them on a feeding frenzy and like they'll start trying to snatch, like, because they know, oh, it's time to eat fish.
Oh,
And
no
they'll be like fighting over your lure even because they don't know that it's a lure. They'll watch their buddy get reeled up and they'll just be like, oh, fucking Jim got one. Like, not Jim got Jim got
Right.
one. You know, they don't think. That's the problem. When you try to put it in like mind, like, what are they thinking? They don't know. They're dumb. They don't. But the sunfish, the fact, like, sometimes when they're super ferocious about getting stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like spiders, dude. I don't like bugs in general, but I do not like spiders.
Mm-hmm.
And I see one like on the dock or on the boat and just flick that thing off the boat and you see it hit the water and then you see a sunfish come up and just and like, bye, spider. That sunfish you had done. Oh, it feels so good. That's what I was doing. We took out the docks the other week, and every time we would lift up the panel, because it's, you know, like it's the aluminum body and then it's the panels of each the boards. You lift them up, Spider City under each one of them, and I won't pick it up and just walk because I'm not trying to get spiders crawling on me and stuff. So I'm sitting there like flicking them all off into the water, and there's one like giant banana looking spider, dude. It had a butt, like long skinny thing, and I'm like, this thing is the freakiest looking spider I've seen in a long time.
Ugh.
And I flicked that thing in the water, and a sunfish came up and like got just the like front couple of legs. Whoa. It was like a horror movie where he just got like picked off. It was like, and then like part of his body, part of his legs, and then all of them gone. And like,
oh my God,
it was like two different fish, like piranhas just oh, it was great.
That's crazy.
I love it. But yeah,
so when the sunnies I was gonna say, when the sunnies are picking at the like creature bait or whatever, like the crawdads or whatever, they're not getting them though, right?
No, sometimes they just rip off like the appendages. Yeah, they don't actually eat the whole thing, but they just run up and grab whatever. And because that's the part that's moving, that's what they're like nipping at and
attracted to.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know what their intentions are sometimes, because clearly they can't eat it. They do it with minnows too sometimes. Like, you can't eat it, but you'll be out there fishing sometimes and you'll feel the ticks. You'll feel a tick and you go to set it.
Yep.
And that happens when you're on like a school of small fish out there. Everybody's feeling ticks and everybody's lifting the rod. Like, what is going on?
Right.
And then like when it happens to everybody like 3 times in a row, you go, all right, we got to be on like some sunfish. It's like small sunfish messing with us or something.
Right.
We
just like fucking around.
And you've kind of created that feeding frenzy in that area. Like all these sunfish are waiting for this shit to fall. They know what's about to happen. We need to move. Right. You know, down a little bit and try to start fresh.
Yeah, because they've already set it off. So like you could throw plastics in all day and they're just gonna pick that shit apart. And even if it is, you know, more durable than throwing real night crawlers or real minnows in, you know, they're crazy now. They're food crazy. They're just gonna go nuts on it.
They got it in their mind that food's coming down.
Right.
But yeah, they definitely do, because did you come up with this topic because you have seen pictures or videos? Because I have seen pictures and videos.
No. This was actually just a curiosity of mine.
Okay.
Because we talked so much in the last episode, in episode 54, about the fishing for pike from shore. And I have some soft plastics. In fact, the gillies are soft plastics, which those are the only soft plastics I've ever fished. Right. So to be very specific, I take back, I don't have any. I have a little bit, and I've tried, and I have tried the gilly and all this other stuff.
Sure.
So okay, I was off a little bit, but so it just made me think. I'm like, oh yeah, like what if it's actually got eaten? What if this was a little minnow and it got eaten. And then I started thinking about worms and how they always get bit off. Night crawlers always get bit off by smaller fish. And I was just like, huh. So like, you ever catch a bass on a fake worm and the worm's just gone in their mouth?
Yeah, so I've caught
That was it.
fish. Yeah, so I've caught fish where the worm has been gone and you don't know where it is and you just assume that it like got flung off in the water. But I have seen videos to know that for sure they do ingest them sometimes.
Yeah.
Never anything like the gilly, because I don't know what happens with that. I don't know if it probably doesn't pass like normal, because it probably has to digest somewhat before it can be passed or whatever.
Right.
But I've seen videos of like the Ned rig, you know, those are like 3-inch little worms or whatever, and they catch it and like the worms like sticking out their butthole. you got like an inch sticking out, and then they'd be like, oh, look at this. And then they grab it with their pliers and like pull it out. Like, there you go, bud. Like, helped you out or whatever. It doesn't happen often. I've never caught one like that, but I have seen the videos where they literally have like the plastic worm that has gone completely through them and is working their way out.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just stuck there at the moment.
Yeah. The answer to the question is, yeah, they totally poop them out. They do.
Yeah, for sure.
They do. It takes in the research that I did, it's like, yeah, it takes 9 days, but they poop it out.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know what the normal like cycle of a largemouth bass is. If it's like takes 9 days to just process food anyway, because it's full of bones and shit. I don't know, but like, no, the general consensus is, yeah, in 9 days or less, it will shit out a plastic worm and it will pass it. But don't go fucking throwing them in the water just because. Like, don't just take off your busted ass worm and go like, oh, fuck it, throw it over the side and go. Like, everybody in the heat of the moment could do that. You could see, oh, fuck, a huge strike.
Yeah.
Well, rig up, like, it's gone now. There's nothing you could do.
Whoops.
I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But it's not like if you got a night crawler on it, it's half eaten. You just take that bitch and throw it in the water, and you're like, oh,
right,
that thing's gonna get eaten before it hits the bottom of the lake.
I think there's a couple of different kinds that I assume actually break down relative like faster than others. With like the max scent power baits, and then like the gulp stuff. Like if you leave those on your hook and it dries out, those things like shrivel up and get hard, and you have to like cut them off.
Oh wow.
So I think just the way those are made, because of how hard they get when there's no moisture, I think they might just break down faster. Or I might be completely wrong on that. Like,
maybe it's the opposite.
The other worms don't get hard like that. If they get to be like little rocks, maybe you can't break them down when they dry out. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I guess I'm
but
not
yeah,
sure
that totally makes sense. Everything's made. I think they do their research for the most part. Everything's made to not really harm the fish anyways. Like if a hook gets busted off, those are made to like rust out and not give them any issues. They'll It doesn't take too long for them to kick a hook that's stuck in their mouth.
Yeah.
But some of them eat the whole thing.
Oh, go ahead. What?
Oh, I was going to say some of them eat the whole thing. That was one other video I've only seen one time. But there was one that had like the Ned jig head coming out its butthole. Like it was trying to pass the hook.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was an aggressive fucking fish.
But they're made to deal with some shit. Because if you think about the spines on a sunfish and they're just swallowing them whole, like their systems are made to deal with some shit.
Right. Which is also why I said the 9 days is like, well, that could totally be just normal cycle. I didn't look that part up because I was like, that's not important. I mean, it's relevant, of course, and I thought about it, but I didn't look it up. But that's exactly why I thought about that, because you've seen pictures of bass eating other bass that are bigger than them, and they've suffocated themselves. Like,
oh yeah,
their systems are definitely made to deal with some shit. And the thing that you just said about the hook, right, where you're like, oh, the hook is made to rust out. I didn't know that until we started the podcast and you had brought it up. And I was like,
yeah.
So then that's what made me start thinking is like, oh shit, I wonder then if the similar like care, I guess, or like it's just, if there's similar treatment to the soft plastics. And I don't know that it's necessarily similar treatment, But you're right when they do their research. I mean, it's Berkeley, right? They make soft plastics. They
Yep.
make a shitload of money off of soft plastics. So take it for what it is. But Berkeley has tanks full of fish. They're
Yeah.
constantly testing stuff, and they tested feeding them. And yeah,
Yeah.
almost every single one just passed the worm. Or I didn't think about this. They just barfed it back up.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot too. Like I didn't think about it happen with the worms, but for sure they can do that. They can regurgitate stuff all the time because a
Sure.
lot of the pros talk about that when they get on fish that are like
Yep.
feeding on like shad or whatever,
Yep.
and they'll go into their like live well and be like, "Oh, there's like gizzard shad all over the place in here." They're like barfing up, they're like burping up all the gizzard shad they've been eating. Like they
Right.
ate so many
Yep.
that they can't hold anymore. And then I caught them because they ate so many they can't hold anymore, and
Yep.
they still ate my lure. Like
Right.
it's
Right.
nuts. They're just hammering them. So you get in that feeding frenzy mentality again.
Yeah.
And I don't know, their nervous systems aren't smart enough to know when like there's research done. Obviously, we don't know 100% for sure because we don't know what they're thinking, but
Right.
there's research that has shown that their nervous systems aren't developed enough for them to even feel pain. And I would assume that has something to do with them like being able to eat nonstop too. Like they don't know
Right.
that
They don't
like
have a full feeling probably.
yeah, there's probably no full feeling. They're probably smart enough to know that like I have to eat to get energy. And when the getting's good, they're like, ate one, that's enough energy to get another. That's enough energy to get another. And it's just over and over and over, not really thinking about how full they are. And it's all about opportunity. And the
just go
opportunity
until the
keeps
fish are
presenting.
gone. Or
Yeah.
till the feeder till what it's eating is just gone.
Yep. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, probably. I would. And actually, I want to do a whole episode on the nervous system too about that. I'm going to look that up because that's also something I'm very curious about. I've had people say that about fishing. But anyways, plastics. We're talking about plastics. So, the one thing you were talking about is like if you leave them to dry, they like crust up and they get hard to get off of there, like off your hook. Like if you just well, leave them for the day, leave it on there, come back 2 weeks later. Oh shit.
Yep.
I read this, but also like I think Patrick Durkin over there, and now, again, that link is going to be in the YouTube description. His article, I think he mentioned that like some of these actually swell up when they get wet, and I feel like I've seen that before.
Yeah,
but I don't really know why I would have seen that. Like, have you seen that? Are you experiencing that?
I haven't, but I could see that that's the same thing as like what I was talking about, like where those couple of baits where they get dry, they get all shriveled up and small. I would assume that those are probably the same ones that if like they get oversaturated, they get bigger and absorb. Because a lot of them are just like, for Jeepers Creepers.
Look at those beepers.
Sorry, that one hit me out of nowhere. I had to hit the cough button real quick. I was trying to suppress it. I wasn't really thinking. I knew what I wanted to say, but I was like, oh, act like you're thinking, maybe it goes away. Nope. So no, I kind of got distracted. Oh, anybody listening that doesn't really know what we're talking about either, like a lot of people think that they're rubber worms. Soft plastic is what they are referred to as, and they are essentially like rubber.
Right.
So
yes, good point.
The soft plastic out there, I think the majority of them don't do anything when they get wet because they are just that soft plastic. Like you could add water, and it's not going to do much. I do know that some of them, like I've had it happen before, like when I don't know what the difference is, what the science is behind it, but if I have them in their bag that they come in and I put them in a tackle bag, even if it's
like all of them come in a Ziploc bag, right? Like, oh, you can't use Ziploc.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, like a Ziploc or whatever.
But they come in like some sort of fairly airtight container.
Yeah, it's like a bag, or like some of the gulp comes in like a screw top deal that for whatever reason Gulp can't figure out how to make a thing that seals shut. Like if it tips over, it's gonna leak. It's it's a slow leak, but it happens. It's annoying. I don't know.
Right.
Anyways, the soft plastics, they come in their own bags and stuff. But if you ever put a soft plastic, like I've had them on a trailer or whatever, and just in the heat of a moment, you're working quick or whatever, and you throw it in your plastic tackle box, and then the plastic tackle box gets hot, those things melt. They will melt inside your tackle box in like a hot day. Whoa. When they're in the car, when the car gets hot. If they're in the bag, they're fine. I haven't had one melt in the bag, but if it's in the like plastic tray of your tackle box, if it's just
laying flat in the plastic tray, like
the next time you go to pick it up, it's like stuck and like melted to the thing. Like it doesn't melt into a puddle, but like the part that's on the plastic is now like melted to the plastic.
Yeah,
and it's
like it's got a flat side. If it's a worm, it's now
like exactly. It's like a flat side, and it's like a weird like oily there. It's like it's weird.
Crazy.
So yeah, I mean it's basically like a liquid that they heat up, I believe, and then it kind of bakes it into being a solid.
Yeah.
Like the creepy crawlers.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, because also when I was doing the research on this, and this is something I'll talk about in a second, but like when I was doing the research on this, they said there's a brand that recycles these things, and they just take whatever it is, doesn't matter, all of it, melt it down and reform it. And I was like, that's a creepy crawler. And they just sell it because it has no color. It's just a fucking bleh, right?
Oh yeah.
And they just call it trash. Like
they just call it trash.
They just call the color trash, and they resell it.
I've seen like, that.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah, I've seen that before online too, where the people that have the molds, it's like, I don't know. I have always thought it'd be cool, but the molds aren't cheap because they're like solid chunks of aluminum. You know, like that's not cheap to manufacture. Plus, they're not like a really widely sought after thing, so they're kind of a specific deal. So the prices are higher on them. If, you know,
because there's not that many of them, not that many people doing it. Like the demand is higher than the supply because there's not that much demand.
Yep, exactly. But a lot of these guys will have like the one, I think you have one for outside for your like cardboard smoker that you made, where you get like the one like electric burner.
Yep.
So they'll get like the electric burner and just like an old like shitty stock pot or whatever that they don't care about ruining, and then you throw all your old lures in there, and then you just heat them up so you're not cooking it too high, because you can burn it still, but if you get it to a certain heat, you can melt it down. And they'll just keep all their old baits of like the same similar color. Like all their green pumpkin, they just melt that down and then like remake all the stuff, and then you have your own green pumpkin or whatever. And then sometimes they'll get, you know, like, oh, I got some green pumpkin over here, and I got some June bug. I'm putting them together. I'm gonna have green pumpkin June bug, and then like it, you know, whatever it comes out as, because there's metal flakes in there, which is basically just glitter.
Right, that's what I was just gonna say. You mean glitter?
Yeah. So once it's all melted down, you just pump it back into the mold, and you got yourself a bunch of new baits. I would assume after a while of doing that, like
it breaks down.
It would break down a bit, and it wouldn't be quite as strong over, you know, eventually. And I don't know, maybe the Z-Man stuff is like you can't even do it to. I don't know what that stuff's made out of. It's crazy stretchy.
Well, it's probably crazy patented, and that's why nobody else is doing it, because they just probably have this crazy like, nope. Every time anybody tries to touch it, they're just like, we will see.
Yeah. Right. That is ours. You do not touch it.
Right. So I want to ask you a quick question before we wrap up, because I don't want to go too long, because we went long obviously on Cheater Cheater Pumpkin Eater assholes. The swelling, I mentioned, like I feel like I've seen or heard about them swelling up, right? And you're just like, probably not, I don't know. What about like you said, Gulp has a lid and it leaks and stuff like that. Some of these come pre-soaked, or like they live in a liquid. Is that right? Or what were you
Yeah.
talking about with gulp? Because
Yeah,
that
the
was kind of
gulp.
one of my curiosities.
Yeah, the gulp sits in the liquid.
And it's just soft
Stinky.
plastic. And these aren't those like fish food nuggets that you're talking about.
No, these are soft plastics. I think it might technically be Gulp Alive.
Okay.
Specific, like I think it that might be the full name.
Mm-hmm.
And those just like chill in liquid. Yeah, they have like a scent,
Okay.
and they hold on to that stuff. But that liquid is, it's not like water. So that's why I wonder if like
Yeah.
it's able to absorb water differently, because I think it's kind of like it's almost like an oily liquid.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
the oily can't be absorbed, but water does get absorbed. So that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking. But that stuff stinks, dude. Oh, you get it on your fingers and you're just like, oh god. The
God
one,
damn
oh man,
it.
yeah.
Ugh.
I did it the one time I had it, and I was just like, I did one of these, you just kind of like did this thing here.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
And
just
then
like
like I wasn't thinking
for the
about it.
audio listeners, it's that whole
Yeah.
it's the like where you just kind of like rub your mustache and go
Yeah,
down, like kind of
when
go to the down to
yeah.
chin, the goatee move where you're just
Yeah,
like,
when you got a
it's kind of a
yeah, when
thinker move.
yeah, when you got a beard, it's just like a thing that you just kind of like, and then it was like on exhale, like I started doing it, and then the inhale, like I had already like rubbed my fingers through it, and I just
Yeah.
like, oh no, and it's like in the hair now, and it's like now I gotta smell that shit until I get back to like trying to like reach in the lake water, like wash my face with lake water, like oh, I got gulp in my beard. It's so gross. But that
Shit.
stuff, yeah, it's a strong smell, man, and it works really well. They say that it
Mhm.
outfishes live bait, and I think sometimes it does, and I think it's mainly a lot because it's more durable. Like there's different ways you can
Sure.
fish it. You
Sure.
can put a gulp minnow on a jig head and rip it through some weeds without the, not without the possibility, but with a a lesser chance of
There you go.
the weeds ripping the minnow off of the hook, because it's a
Right.
soft plastic that
Right.
can
Yeah, for
handle it.
sure.
So yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
I would think it'd be something like that, where it sits in the liquid, and I'm guessing that the water absorbs into it, where the oil just kind of like it just sits in the oil,
Right.
and once you take it out of that oil, it just dries
It
right
starts
up,
to just
man.
dry up. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
for
telling
sure.
you, man, if you leave it on your hook and you forget about it, the next weekend you come, you gotta grab like a pliers, or
Oh
a
yeah, I
pliers
believe you.
doesn't even work a lot of times. You gotta grab a knife and actually like go along the edge of the hook and just like
Like
shear it
cut
off.
it. Like yeah,
It's
scrape it
crazy
off
hard.
like it's fucking bark on a stick, like you're
Yeah,
whittling
dude, it's nuts.
out there whittling the hook. Two
Yep.
things before we wrap up. So we're just gonna go full pull on this, even with the extra time that we put in.
Whole speed.
Anyways, have you seen disposable like recycling bins, for lack of a better word, at boat launches? Because that's where that company that makes the trash color, that's they said they do that. Like they'll just go to pick those up. Like the DNR, or, for lack of a better word, the DNR will put them at boat launches, encouraging
Yeah.
people to not just throw them over the side of the boat, that they should properly dispose of them.
Yeah.
And then they just get a contract and to pick them up and melt them back down into bait. Have you seen that? I've never seen that.
No, I don't think I have for bait. I've seen the bins where they want you to throw your old fishing line.
Oh
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess I've never really paid attention to see if there was like they're also saying bait there, and like you can just go
Is it
and
one
like
and the
sift
same
through.
thing? Sorta?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Mm,
what I've never really understood. I normally like throw all my own stuff away because a lot of times I'll have
yep.
like a Fleet Farm bag or something with me. And
Oh,
there's so
yeah.
many times I'm going out there with like brand new stuff that I have like lure packaging and everything. So I'm just like tossing stuff in a
Yeah.
bag. So
Like you go out with a garbage bag, so you're not tossing your soft plastics over the side
yeah,
anyway,
because you
because you
never
bought a
know,
garbage bag.
man. Yeah, you never know. Stuff,
Mhm,
you have a
mhm.
bad day and somehow you end up backlashing hardcore and you're cutting off your line. You don't want to throw
Right,
that in the water. You don't want to just leave
right.
that
For sure.
sitting to get tangled up in your feet or any of your other lures and stuff. And
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
said, I'm always buying new stuff, so I always have like like the packaging for a different lure. You know, that plastic like bubble piece with the cardboard backing, and then the soft plastics. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
sometimes I'll go out there with a new bag of like 7, 8 new soft plastic lures, and by the time I'm done, I'm like, well, I gotta go to the store and get more of that color
Mhm.
because I just
Mhm.
ran out. Like I just that day I used all of them. So there's that bag. There's all of those soft plastic lures because I don't really screw around a lot of times trying to like make them last longer. Like if it doesn't, if it, if the nose gets messed up when I
Yeah,
catch one of the fish, a lot of times I'm just like, I'm not going to try to keep messing with this. I'll just, switch to the next one and hope
sure.
this one doesn't get messed up.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like 6 in, you're like, oh shit, I guess I'm switching to the other color I have in the same lure. I should have bought 2 of the same color.
But I want the color. Um, oh, there's some that are biodegradable too. I just forgot. I wanted to mention that too. It's like I didn't know that. Have you seen the biodegradable ones? Like, is that
I
something you've
think I
noticed?
think most of them are biodegradable. It just depends on how, some do it faster than other.
Yeah,
I
gotcha.
think they're all made to be broken down
To
eventually.
eventually break down. Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that actually is sort of like the whole reason why this sort of question was in my head is because I was like, well, if it doesn't break down quickly, then what happens if a fish eats it? And I mean, the general consensus is that like they're made with some testing done, and that they figure out that the fish will pass it, and it's like cool. I mean, these things have been around since the 50s, and you know, the general consensus from a, a bunch of scientific research, which is all almost less than 10 years old, by the way, there's the general consensus that like they don't really get taken that often. And you just said that from your experience too, is like the fish don't just take them that
Yeah.
often. Yes, they fly off. Yes, people
Yep.
throw them overboard. Fuck those people.
Uh-huh.
Come on. I mean, not fuck those people, but like, come on, join the rest of us. Just don't just discard it in the
Yeah.
water on purpose, right? Like
Right.
that, because they will still eat it. Fish will still find it and eat it and suck it off the bottom of the lake, or wherever it lands.
Yeah.
They'll still
Yeah.
eat it because that's what fish do. Fish are opportunists. So we already
Mhm.
talked about that. Um, but the the idea then progressed a little bit as I was doing research, and I found John Cruz video with missile baits because I thought,
Oh, yeah.
John Cruz, the Bass Pro. He's Bass
Yeah.
Pro.
Yep.
He I thought of them. Thought of missile baits because I was like, I don't know if I've seen missile baits do anything other than soft plastics. And I looked up a video. Dude, that guy's funny. First of all,
Yeah.
um, so he's because he's showing techniques about how to use your soft plastics, and during that he's like, toss your soft plastics. Like he does the quick. You should throw these things away. Don't just toss them in the water. He kind of throws that in there, but he's showing different techniques of how to rig your soft plastics.
Yeah.
And he's got like a jig with a skirt on it.
Yep.
And he's like, you don't need this all here. You can trim this up right now. This is what I call full bush, and you can trim it up. Just super casual about it. It was so good. And he's trimming it up, and then he's like, and then you can put a soft plastic right on the hook, and you can get, and then there's more soft plastic action, but you still have the skirt of the jig doing the action on the top and stuff. And then he goes, you can super glue it on. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Okay. So that's kind of how I want to wrap this up, is just like, do you have any tips, or have you seen anything crazy? Because I was just like, so you just gorilla glue a creature bait to a jig with a skirt on it?
Yep.
Oh shit. I guess
Yeah.
that's one way to keep fish from eating your fucking soft bait.
Yep. Try to get it stop from moving, try to keep it where it's at to stop that one side, because a lot of times it will move on you. So you put a little bit of glue. And now I've never done that before
Mhm.
because I'm super particular like of the way the thing smells. And I'm
Oh,
like, I don't know for
sure.
sure if they're like, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I don't want it to smell like super glue and to be weird like that. But then other times I hear some people being like, WD-40 works as a fish attractant. Like
What?
you can spray WD-40 on your lure and they'll eat it. Yeah.
It's a human attraction, man. Fucking
So yeah, so it's
WD-40
like,
smells awesome. I'd put
I
that
know
shit on
that's
my
what it's like. I
underarms if
don't
I
know. You
didn't think it
just
was fucking weird.
right.
You smell like WD-40.
See that? No hair underneath there. Know what that means? It's an aerodynamic fight.
You smell that? It's WD-40 under my arms.
I can fight underwater.
But yeah, I mean that was kind of my last thing. Like it was cool to see like prevention of it even coming off of the hook.
Yeah,
because that was in my brain. The problem is like, oh, they're gonna pull it off the hook, but that's just the inexperience of fishing with live bait versus plastics. It's not really happening, but
right. But I was also going to say, like, as far as like customizing goes too, like you can put stuff in there, like they have different, like a not a Ned rig, but a Nico rig. Like they have like the pin weights that you put in the one side. So the weight's not actually attached to the hook. The hook goes on the other side and there's a pin weight on the one side that goes. You can get like the rattling Nico rig where like there'll be like a rattle chamber in the thing that you stick inside the worm.
Oh,
so there's different stuff you can mess around with like that. But like as far as just the soft plastic goes, sometimes too, where if I've done it, I always tear it with my hand. But some people like Mike Iaconelli and stuff, I think it's weird as shit because these baits are scented, but they'll just like take it and like bite part of it off and like spit it in the water, like they'll like bite off an inch because the way he's talking about like full bush or whatever, they're putting on that soft plastic onto that hook, and because they're trying to make it a little bit more of a subtle presentation or whatever, they don't want it to be that 4-inch piece that they have. They want to get it down to like 2 or 3 inches, so it's not much on the hook.
Oh,
and they'll bite off a chunk and then put the rest on there. So sometimes you can mess around with all sorts of stuff like that. Like sometimes it just, you want just the tail, I like the way this bait looks and it has that nice tail, but it's unnatural to have that long skinny thing coming out of there. I want it to be right at the end of that, now freshly manicured bush.
But that's a really good point though, that is a really good tip and a good way to end this, is because that is exactly the thing when you were talking about the crawdads and the creature baits and the flapping hands, is like the shorter that is, the less likely it has to be to get bit off. Like it just it has to be. There's less to bite off. So it's just, you're going to get closer to the hook. It's going to be more sturdy. Like it just has to be less likely to get snatched.
Right. Yeah. I just saw you doing that, and then I did it too. And I was just thinking, like, if that's just a clip that gets on the Instagram, just like that, both of us are like,
just both of us doing the like claw movement.
She's just straight face. And it looks like this. Yeah, it looks like this. It's like crayfish, and sometimes bluegill. And then you just got the one.
Oh, that's great, dude. Okay. Well, let's jump into that was a crazy fishing part. And by the way, seriously, go over to realaf.tv/contact and give us feedback. I'm trying to keep the random take due to an anonymous suggestion of you should make your podcast shorter. It's like, yeah, me and Tim like to talk. Sorry. We're good at talking. But seriously though, it's made me try to keep the random take a little bit shorter. The fishing topic is now an hour. We started as an hour-long podcast. Give us feedback on that, especially this one. I'm not sure how long this one's going to end up, but we did a lot here.
Yep. Yeah, let us know. Are you looking for more vibrating butt plug talk, or are you looking for what are you wanting to hear from?
Great note to end it on, Tim. Let's get into the random take. I didn't even think I said it before because we were so wrapped up on getting into Cheater Pumpkin Eater, and it kind of threw everything off because we got a little fired up there at the beginning.
Oh
The
man,
random take. I usually mention it at the top of the podcast. I don't think I did. Grilling part 2.
Yeah.
We're gonna do grilling follow-up. I listened to our grilling thing. It's fall now. The grilling season is coming to a conclusion. I had some things I wanted to share with Tim. I listened to the podcast where we did grilling, episode 23, by the way, back in July of 2021. We talked about a lot, and now we're gonna revisit some of that and talk about grilling again because we gotta. I'm in. You ready?
Yep.
Let's hit the break. Welcome to the break, friends and family. This is a ad. It is officially an ad for Monster Bass, and that is realaf.tv/monsterbass. That's right. realaf.tv/monsterbass is an URL that you can follow to help out the Real AF TV podcast. If you go to realaf.tv/monsterbass, that lets Monster Bass know that we from the Real AF TV podcast sent you. And this is where I pass the ball over to Tim to actually talk about what Monster Bass is.
I got the rock. All right. So Monster Bass is a subscription website that is awesome. They set you up with a bunch of good gear. If you're a new fisherman, they're going to hook you up with a bunch of stuff that you know works because it's curated by a bunch of fishermen who know what catch fish. And if you're a seasoned angler, they have a lot of cool stuff. I'm getting baits that I don't normally see. There's baits from different companies and stuff, and some of them are super cool. But just so you give a little visual here and give you an understanding of what things look like, this is what you're getting. You order a box, it comes with a bag, but the bag is dope. Has like a little, says contents right here. You can write on it. Zipper bag, nice clear bag, so you can put all your stuff in there and get it all situated. And some of the baits, it comes with the terminal tackle too. So if you are a new fisherman and you're trying to get things set up, don't worry, they're gonna hook you up. So in a bag, here's a couple of different things. KVD perfect plastic. These are worms that are set up that will work for a drop shot or just a regular, you can put it on a Texas rig, you can just fish it weightless. So more worms from X Zone. If you're wondering, are they all brands I've never heard of? No, X Zone, Strike King, super popular.
Well, KVD. I mean, come on.
Yeah, right. KVD. Got
Mustad. You know that.
Exactly. Got Mustad worm hooks. So they're setting you up with the worm hooks. Monster Bass has some of their own stuff. So these are wide gap worm hooks that work with those. Nice. They're setting you up with creature baits. These are a jig trailer, or you can Texas rig these as well. And they set you up with a jig. There's a Monster Bass jig for you that you can put that on. Nice. Or you can put it on these are, it just says terminal tackle. I don't even know what they will call these ones. But it's it's a tungsten Ned jig head, but it has a wide gap hook on it. So these are a little bit unique. But you could fish this with that creature bait. You could fish this with these worms. You could fish pretty much everything you want.
Yeah. Nice.
Setting you up with top water. There's a buzz bait. They got the bass popper. So we're covering all the different things. This is one of Monster Bass's own baits.
Nice.
Cool colors and stuff.
Yeah.
Rick Clun spinner bait. Rick Clun is a famous fisherman. They hook you up with stickers. And then when I was talking about, baits that seasoned fishermen, I don't have any stick baits like this that walk the dog. This thing sits like this in the water, and when you fish it,
explain that for the audio listener. It goes vertical from the tail.
It sits vertical almost, up and down, and when you start working it, it does the walk the dog type action, but it doesn't glide as far. It doesn't move as far, so it kind of stays put and stuff. Nice. So yeah, man, they're covering all zones, and that's just one bag. That's the contents of what you would get in one bag. And all that stuff is going to cost you way more if you buy it individually at a store. So it's a great deal. Plus, they're setting you up with cool stuff. If you're a new fisherman, seasoned fisherman, get you some monster bass. They're going to hook you up right.
Yeah, for sure. That's realaf.tv/monsterbass. They'll get you over to the Monster Bass website, but it'll let you know that we sent you from the Real AF TV podcast, and that'll get a little kickback for us. Help us out by going to realaf.tv/monsterbass. And, of course, don't forget about patreon.com. Patreon.com/RealAFTV. Remember, Real Like Fish and Reel, where we are set up to have you come over and join the community that is the Real AF TV community, sort of a fisher community, you know, this combo community that we're trying. We think we have a unique perspective on fishing, from me being a geeky person, Tim being the fisherman, but also Tim being into video games, me being into video games. Like, you don't see a lot of that sort of generational representation in fishing, I think. Is that a weird way to put it, Tim?
No, I like it.
Okay.
And diversity.
Yeah.
We're diverse, generational, gapping fisher geeks.
Hopefully that's what we're building. And if you go over to Real AF TV, realaf.tv, you will see the link to the Patreon page. That'll bring you over there. That's the best way to support the Real AF TV podcast directly, and also the Real AF TV YouTube channel, of course, directly. We're trying to do more videos. We're doing a lot more videos. We got some videos content in the tank, and there's also the ability to get exclusive Patreon created content. If you go over to patreon.com/realaftv, you will see the different tiers that you can become a patron of.
Yes.
And, you know, we will start creating exclusive content, we'll say.
That's right. Yep.
So there it is. The best way to support the podcast directly is realaf.tv. Find the Patreon link right there on the homepage. Click on that. Give us a couple bucks a month. Hey, subscribe for 1 month. Hang out for a minute. Check out what we already got on there and take off. That'd be cool too. But don't forget, we're going to keep keeping the podcast free. So don't worry about it.
Keeping the podcast free, the YouTube. If you could like and subscribe on any of those, that would also help us a great deal. But the Patreon is definitely the best way to go about it.
That's right. Welcome back to the Real AF TV podcast, show about fishing random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. You are in the random take, and if you are listening to this on Friday, thank you for finding us. We do a longer version. You can find it here on YouTube. Just check it out, but it's on podcast feed, because I know if you're on YouTube, you'll listen to podcasts. That's how the world works nowadays. Tim, let's talk about grilling.
Yeah.
Grilling. Now, what sparked this is at the end of the season. Well, it's fucking cold up here already. Yep. We live in the north. Fucking part of the north. And we have outdoor grills. We're not one of those peoples with the fancy grills, grill tops on their gas stoves and whatever, and the big hoods and all that stuff. We grill outside. And the idea came to me to do this again, because I said in that podcast, I was like, oh, we'll follow up on this and stuff. And that was a year ago. It's in July of 2021. And I was like, over a year ago. Yeah, over a year ago, because now it's fall. So we finished off that grill season. We went through another one. We back. Also, when we went to Bass Live.
Yep.
I forgot to tell you, my barbecue this year had inspiration in your guys' wedding. Here's how. Inspiration from your guys' wedding.
Okay.
I made a grilled banana rum barbecue sauce this year.
Grilled banana rum barbecue sauce.
Yeah, dude. It was awesome. It was so fucking good.
Is it sweet? Like super, like, what did you put it on?
I used it as a dipping sauce primarily.
Okay.
Chickens. So I would just squeeze it on the side, put it on chicken, burgers, stuff like that. I used it as a dipping sauce.
Okay.
I loved it. I loved it, but I like banana. Here's the thing: is like I grilled the banana. I knew I was going to make a
Okay.
grilled.
That
I
was
knew I
my
was going to
next
make a
question.
grilled. Yes.
So you grilled the banana.
I grilled the banana. Yeah.
And then did you like baste it with rum, or where does the rum come in?
Yeah. So this is how it happened. It was awesome. I really liked it, and this is how it goes back to your wedding. Was like
Yeah.
the experience of your wedding in Jamaica is how this worked. Because I always have dark Jamaican rum in the liquor cabinet now because of
Oh yeah.
Alton Brown's recipe for eggnog. And so you just need a little
Oh.
bit. You just need a little bit for the eggnog. So then I always have this like 375 that's just left over that I try to knock out
Mm-hmm.
before next Christmas and I get another bottle. So take this banana, cut it in half, cover it in brown sugar. I put it on
Oh
the
yeah.
grill, like
Oh yeah.
hot fucking grill, right? Like get the
Hot.
char marks on it.
Yup.
Caramelize the
Yup.
sugars.
Mm-hmm.
In the house already got the base of a barbecue sauce, which is tomatoes, boiling tomatoes and all that
Yep.
stuff and
Yep.
molasses and all this stuff. Throw it together and I'm letting it cook down to become barbecue sauce. Something's missing. Something's missing.
Sure.
Go back outside. We're hanging out with the neighbors. We're having some beers. We're just chilling. It's a Saturday. We're just having a chill Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
And I go in and I taste it again. And something's fucking missing. Try a little bit more brown sugar. Not enough. That's not doing it. Try a little molasses. Nah, that wasn't doing it. Oh shit. I don't know how. I don't know why. But bam. You guys popped up in my brain. Next thing I know, I'm going to the cupboard. I'm getting the dark Jamaican rum. I just pour it
Yeah.
straight in while it's reducing. I let it keep reducing.
Okay.
Bam. Money. That is
Yeah.
exactly what
Boom.
it needed. I was so pumped on it.
Nice. I like it. So you add the rum to all the other ingredients as like a barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
To reduce it down. And
Yeah.
then you're grilling these nanas.
Yeah.
And then what you like throw it in a food processor or what?
Yeah. Immersion blender. Actually right in because I'm cooking it in what is that? A Dutch oven. We got a big cast iron Dutch oven that has the ceramic coat on the inside.
Ceramic coated cast iron
Dutch oven. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's reducing in that. And I've already pureed the tomatoes down. And so I just make sure that everything's pureed using the immersion blender. Like that's the end.
Nice.
The end game with that.
All right. Well, I gotta tell you, I've been dancing this whole time because ever since you said grilling in my head, I just keep hearing dun, 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 and the whole top diamond and the bottom roll gold. Dun, 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 dun. I can't stop it. It's been playing that beat. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, definitely not talking about teeth.
No, I know.
But I love that that's where your brain went.
It's just been stuck in there the whole time. I listened to every word you said, but the whole time, if you're watching on YouTube, I just been that beat.
Just
play it, put it in the background. You can see the whole time I've been. It'll work. It'll match up. Dark Side of the Moon stuff here. I can't believe it. It works.
It matches up. It's crazy. So I just had to get that out of the way, and
yeah, dude,
I forgot to tell you, and I was super pumped on it, and I did. So in the other, just to keep going on the barbecue thing quick, in that episode, I said I was going to make a smoked mango barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
and I did. Oh, I fucking made that last year.
Nice.
It was too much. Ended up getting moldy. I was so fucking pissed. I didn't
moldy.
Yeah, dude, it got moldy, but that's because it doesn't have any preservatives in it. And
oh,
shit.
yeah. I was gonna say. Yeah, that totally makes sense because I was gonna say like I have forgot sauce on the table, and then you come back and you go, "Is this still good?" And it tastes just like it did before, and you go, "I guess."
You're like, yeah.
I'll keep an eye on it to make sure. I mean, maybe there's been a couple of times where it was a bit moldy anyways, and I forgot to look because, the water separates, so you grab the sauce every
Yep,
time
and
and
you
you
just shake it up.
So maybe it has, and I never looked.
Yep.
I don't know, just shaking the mold in there. I haven't seemed to get sick. I know it's ironic that I'm talking about that now when I'm coughing and stuff, but this cough has seemed to be different. Just other stuff going on or whatever.
Yeah, I
But
think it's the fall.
yeah, that's pretty dope.
But yeah,
So was it good before it molded?
oh yeah, it was fucking awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
between that and this banana one, it's one of the best I've ever made. You could taste the mango. It was smoky in the best
Nice.
way. I just didn't get to actually like make a chicken with it, which is what I wanted to do, and I said that in the
Oh
episode
yeah.
before too. It's like I
Yeah,
wanted to
dude.
just slather a chicken in that shit, like a chicken breast, even a chicken thighs.
Dude.
I never got to do that. I just had it as a dipping sauce.
Yeah.
And there was a couple times when I cooked it, but it was like I just threw some like pulled pork in a cast iron. Like we already had
Mm-hmm.
pulled pork and it
Yep.
needed barbecue sauce where, we just,
Yeah.
yeah. And it needed barbecue sauce. So I just threw the leftover pulled pork because this was my special barbecue sauce. I wasn't giving it to the whole fucking party.
Right.
So we had some leftover pulled pork, just throw it in the hot skillet and then slather it in it and mix it around and then eat it and dip it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I
Okay.
did get to eat it cooked, but yeah. And then
Yeah.
holy.
All right. Well, dude, you're like moving into sauce boss territory.
Thank you. Thank
Like
you.
I have not dabbled in the sauces like that,
Yeah.
I put a lot of sauces on everything, but I don't really make my own.
Yeah.
But now you got me wanting to.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
that banana one is like, oh man. Part of the problem is like I don't have an adventurous wife.
Yeah.
So it's like
Me neither.
if I was
but
like, I got a banana rum barbecue sauce, I think she's gonna be like, oh, like, I don't know. If I said I got a smoky,
same thing.
if I got a smoky mango one, she might be into that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
But I definitely have to try some different stuff. But
It's super fun. I love doing it.
Dude, I gotta tell you that there are two different things I have seen, and it's not really grill related, but you can put one of these on a grilled steak is what I saw them using it on. So I was like, man, maybe next time I make a steak, I will try this out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But gosh, dang it. You don't hear that, right? Is my cough button working?
Yeah.
I'm click good.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
right
like,
we get the beginning, and there's a pause, and then there's the end of it.
good. Okay, because I
You
clicked the
got it.
button that I thought should be the cough button, and I was like, I just got. There's no confirmation on my side where I'm just clicking in. I'm like, hopefully people aren't here because I'm coughing
You're
right
hitting
in
the
my
right
mic almost. Dude, I saw where they take egg yolks, right? They take the whites, kind of like separate. So just the egg yolks.
Okay.
They put the egg yolk on salt, like just a thick thing of salt.
What?
And then they cover the egg yolk with salt. And then they put it in the fridge. And they let it sit in there until it like hardens up. And then I believe that they took that out when it was just kind of like almost like gelatinous.
Okay.
And then put that shit in the air fryer, because the air fryer you can put on a low setting to actually use as a dehydrator.
Whoa.
So then they cook it like that, and then they were grating the egg yolk onto steak.
No.
Yeah, they were like
dude.
like microplaning it like it was cheese, just grating it because they're like, oh, it gives it so much depth. And I'm like, that's
sick.
crazy. Grated egg yolk on my steak.
Oh my God.
I know. I'll try that out.
Beautiful.
That's what I thought. I was like, this is something else here.
You
I
have
want
an
to try
air fryer,
this.
right?
I do have an air fryer. Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't tried dehydrating anything, but I've been making, hard boiled eggs in the air fryer. Game changer, man. It's awesome. You just set it at like 2 set. I'm trying to dial it in still because I got a recipe and it doesn't seem to be perfect. But
Yep, of course, it always
270 for like 15 minutes. You just put all your eggs in there, cook it, and then just let it sit. And here's the game changer part: they peel easy as shit
because they're dry.
I don't know what the difference is. It's got to be like the dry.
It's like it has to be dry.
The only time that it didn't peel properly is when it wasn't cooked well. And that's just the whole dialing it in thing. Because when you leave it, then you're supposed to like set it and like let it like naturally like cool down, and that like continues the cooking process or whatever.
Yep.
One time I tried it. I've done it 3 times now. Second time it was like some of them were undercooked. Third time I think I left it sit too long before I put it in the fridge, and some of them got overcooked where it's got like the green ring around the yolk.
Right.
And it gets like sulfury or whatever. So I'm trying to dial it in, but every single one of them has peeled awesome except for the ones where the egg wasn't cooked properly.
That's crazy.
Easiest peeling eggs I've ever had. But the other thing that I saw that I thought was weird as shit, and I thought, okay, I mean, it makes sense because I think we're almost like borderline cheese here, is there was this lady that she's like, if you have too much milk and it's about to expire, take your milk and then mix it with like gelatin. So you're making like a milk jello. Put your milk jello in the fridge until it solidifies.
Yeah.
Then take your milk jello out and cut it into like strips.
Sure. Okay. Like
egg wash,
slices, or are we talking like fucking slivers?
Like
Spam?
Not like spam, like slivers, like an inch wide, like
carrots,
like the nice mozzarella sticks.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if you go to a restaurant and you get like the thicker mozzarella sticks, not the sticks, but like the rectangles.
Yeah.
She's cutting them like that, and then she's dredging flour, egg wash, breadcrumbs, fry them.
Yeah,
they are mozzarella sticks basically.
Right.
With milk jello.
Right.
What is that?
Fucking beautiful. That's what that is.
She's like, oh, it's so creamy, and just like I mean, pretty much.
You're like, yeah, I believe you.
Holy I mean, you basically made
that's
cream
not grilling, but
jello.
Like,
it's not grilling. I just, since we're talking food, I was like, I gotta tell you about these 2 weird things that I saw.
Fucking crazy, dude. Oh my God. I want to try that now.
Yeah.
I want to try that real bad.
Milk jello mozzarella sticks and grated egg. Oh, grate your egg on your milk jello
grated egg though. That's something to think about. So that is grilling because you grill.
Yeah, because you grill
a steak and then just that's like some truffle butter shit or some like black truffle almost.
Yeah. Yep.
Put a little that on top of your.
When we talked about grills,
yes.
Did I say anything? Did I have my propane at that time?
No, that's my number one question to you that I wanted to say is you were just like, dude, I think I'm getting propane. I got to get a propane. You said it multiple times. Did you get propane?
I got that propane. Yeah. And it's pretty dope, dude. Like being able to just go out there and turn on it doesn't have the same flavor as charcoal, obviously, but to be able to throw it on there and even just get that like flame kissed, where it's like browning up the sides on a hot dog or whatever, and you have it in a matter of seconds.
Right.
The only thing I can't stand about the propane grills, and I don't know how to prevent it. I don't know if you get a more expensive model, maybe it stops it because they have better, equipment or whatever, is the burner has like a tube, right?
Yeah.
And the tube, the gas goes through, the propane goes through. And there's a bunch of little holes that the propane comes out. And when it lights, it's perfect.
Yep.
A bunch of little blue flames coming out and it looks beautiful.
It does.
Every once in a while, you go and fire that thing up and the flames aren't little. There's like a big yellow flame, and it's all like one piece and it's like, and it looks like shit.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, whatever. It looks weird, but I'll get, be able to cook with it. Nah, dude. You get soot. Like black soot from the gas all over that because it's not burning properly.
Yeah. It's
Do you
gross.
know why it does that?
I don't. I made an assumption that that particular burner is clogged and burning old
Yeah.
food and other stuff, and that like the only way to get rid of it is either clean the fuck out of it or literally wait until that thing hits 550 for 3.5 minutes and has burned the fuck out of everything.
No, 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 no. So you can't burn it away. You can't
Oh
turn
no.
the heat up more.
Okay.
That pipe stays relatively cool, like the flames are coming out of it, but it doesn't get insanely hot down there, like because the flames go
Oh
up, like it
shit.
is hot, and the
Yeah.
blockage isn't food. The
No.
blockage is asshole spiders.
Mm.
They climb into there and then they die when you turn on the propane because there's no
No.
oxygen. But
No.
that's what causes it. They climb into those
It's
things,
bugs.
and
It's
then
bugs.
you have to open it up and like clear them out. The only thing that
Oh
you can do
fuck.
is to go in there and like take apart the grill and then like pipe cleaner out the dead
Really?
spiders.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I didn't know that. And then you're like, how do you
No.
stop this? It even says it in the instruction books. It's like,
No.
if your flame's not working right, and it literally shows like a picture of a spider. Like, there's probably spiders in there.
What?
Yeah, it's like a known problem. They're just like, there's spiders in your grill. And you're like, the fuck did you just say?
No fucking way, dude. That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
didn't know.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what I've ever done to make it go away then because I've had it happen and it eventually goes away or ends up burning off or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I've had it happen.
I would suppose that like the spiders like die off and eventually they like shrivel to the point where they're not blocking it anymore.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, like
Or
over
they get
time.
or the gas like pushes them far enough back that
Sure.
you're really only clogged at the very back of the pipe, so the rest of it's burning properly
Right,
now.
is clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fucking crazy. But funny that you bring that up, spiders, because one, I didn't know, so sweet, I just learned something. But two is this is grilling, and I'll tell you why in a second. I got an actual smoker last
Oh,
winter from somebody. Um,
okay.
it's it's a it's still electric.
Yeah.
It's not like a pellet fed. It's not super well at regulating. It's just like light wood on fire, let it burn.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Use thermometers and the doors that are built in, right? Like so it's very
Sure.
basic. It's just a tube. It's just like it's a fake
Yep.
55-gallon drum is what it is.
Okay.
And um but it has a grill grate at the top. And
Yeah.
that's how this gets to grilling is because I was smoking ham hocks on it, which is just the leg. In case anybody's curious, it's just the ham leg. um,
Is it the whole leg or the foot? The whole leg?
Whole leg, no hoof.
Uh,
Like
okay. Okay.
it's just below the shoulder where the meat stops, and then just before the hoof where the hoof starts.
Okay.
And so, because there's different sizes, that's how I know. Because there's like a big fucking piece, and then it gets smaller and smaller. It's like I could have actually assembled
Sure.
this pig's leg. Um, but so I smoked in it for the first time. I smoked ham hocks in it for the first time,
Yeah.
and it it heated up the grate enough to put marks on it, and I'm like, oh shit, that's not how smoking's
Oh.
supposed to work. But it was okay. It tasted fucking
Yeah.
fantastic. But it had sat over winter because I got it
Oh,
in the middle
yeah.
of winter and it was full of spiders and all the webs, and I didn't clean it out properly. And so I had these like black intricate designs on the ham hock.
Yeah.
It was just burnt fucking spider webs.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Fucking spiders, man.
I've definitely dealt with the spiders in like when I use the charcoal grill. Because I use that chimney.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the
To
and
start
I
up the
just
smoke.
set
Yep.
that just sits on the ground next to the thing.
Right.
And there's almost always a spider in there.
Right. Yeah.
That the spider, I love just lighting those things on fire too. Die. Because I
hate spiders so much.
I hate spiders, but also like the fact that I know they're dumb and they don't know, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, you think you're clever? You found the perfect spot. No, can't
No.
believe anybody else hasn't called this home. Just woof.
Now you're on fire.
Bye guy. Yeah. I don't try to murder them when I'm outside too much. It's just like when they're on stuff that I have, I don't go
Yeah.
out of
When
my
they're
way.
on your property, I get it.
I'm not a crazy person, but like not
Right.
even when they're on my property, when they're out in the yard or whatever, they're eating other bugs. So I don't care. But if you're inside my grill, sorry, bud, you died. I'm not going to like try to release you into the grass.
Right.
You
Like, you're
decided to
just
go
dead.
where there's like where I make fire and now you get fire.
Right. Build on the underside of my deck. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, right. I don't
I'm
care.
not going to touch you. I'm just down here to get the hose out of the fucking storage.
Yeah, exactly. But if you come in my house, oh, bro, I don't care what bug you are. Even a ladybug is dead. This is my house.
Right.
You don't come in here.
My domain?
Come in my house? You paying rent? I didn't think so. There's no eviction notice in my place, bud. You stepped into the wrong home. You are dead.
Pizza, dude. Pizza. We talked about grilling pizza last time.
Yep.
I said that I wanted to do a pizza from scratch.
Yeah.
We did it. I went over to a buddy's house. Yeah, nice. Dude. It was specifically a pizza party. We went over there for a pizza party. He's like, got this big new pizza stone, gonna grill pizzas. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And
that's the ticket.
Yeah, dude, it is the ticket. It's exactly because we talked about pizza ovens. Yeah. And like how you do, like, they're fucking crazy. Like if you get the pizza, what are those called? Like the brick ovens. The brick ovens.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yep.
We talked about how they're just fucking crazy hot in there. They just keep it like as hot as possible. And so we talked about that. And I was like, yeah, I want to try one raw. Like, I want to try one raw because we've cooked frozen pizzas before. And I want to do one from scratch with like raw sticky dough and, fresh toppings and everything. So we brought the toppings. They had the dough. They had the stone. We went over to their house. This big fucking square stone took up like the entire top of their grill.
Yeah.
Just cranked that thing to max. They were kind of asking questions and I was like, turn it up all the way. Full. Just let it go. It's like that thing's got to be 500 plus. Just let it rock. We'll throw it on. We'll pull it off. We'll put the toppings in the sauce and we'll put it back on.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome, dude. It worked so good.
Nice.
It was exactly as you would hope. Made thicker crust pizza because it was fresh dough and it was all kind of wonky. And it was 500 fucking degrees and it was 500 degrees outside as well. It was just a hot, humid summer day.
Yep.
But it worked. Dude, it worked. It was exactly what I hoped it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it wasn't flat like grill, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we didn't put it straight onto the grill top. We used the pizza stone, but like...
Yeah. I get it.
So...
Yeah. I think... Yeah, because you get when it's on the stone and then you can turn it up to get it crazy hot like that. Yeah. I think that's cool. I want to do it like get a round stone for the Weber. Because it's the round kettle.
Right.
I want to put it on there so you're getting that like charcoal flavor in the pizza.
Right.
Because I've made pizza on the pan. Like it was like a pizza pan, but not a stone.
Yeah.
And that was like pre-made pizza already. Like I've never made homemade stuff, but I want to get like homemade stuff. So you got like that fresh dough, like really getting that
because the
charcoal
dough, that's
flavor
the thing,
in there.
right? The dough gets cooked twice. So think about a dough getting cooked twice on the charcoal.
Right.
All that fresh, soft dough absorbing that charcoal smell and flavor.
Yup.
Yup.
Yep. Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah, dude. Do you have a stone? Do you have a pizza stone?
No, dude, we had a pizza stone once, and then it like shattered. It was like in the oven, and I don't know if there was like some moisture on it or something or what happened.
Yeah.
But it was like in there, and we like opened the oven, and it was just like tink, and like it broke in like 6 pieces, and we were just like, what the fuck?
Like the cold air hitting it or something?
Dude, yeah, it was like when we opened the oven, but we were like preheating it.
Right.
And it wasn't cold in the house, but I mean, it would have been like 70,
right, compared to
compared to
425 or whatever.
yeah, yeah. So maybe that's what it was, but it was, yeah,
What the fuck,
the stone
dude?
just,
Really?
I think we just had a shitty stone is what it was.
It just wasn't properly
Yeah.
like, it came out of the manufacturer.
Yeah. It was probably some shit that was like not actual stone, like something that was like manufactured someplace. And then they like were supposed to like heat fire it in the kiln or whatever.
Yeah, they were supposed to
So
kiln
it's like
dry it.
tempered. Yeah. So it's basically like tempered glass. Like you got to do it right.
Right.
Otherwise it's going to shatter. Yeah. That
Right,
one
you
we
got
had.
the one that fucking shattered.
Yeah. We didn't use the pizza stone much, but that was like 4th or 5th try. And then it shattered. And then, for a little while there, it was like, dude, pizza stones are garbage. They just shatter. And then everybody else I talked to are like, what are you talking about? Like,
right.
oh, so they don't all do that? All right, maybe I'll try another one.
Yeah, they don't. No, we've had we've had 2 of them. We fucked up our first one kind of because, and it happens no matter what you do, but made chicken on it because I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is gonna be the crispiest chicken tenders we ever had.
Oh yeah.
No, you can't do that. Moisture.
Oh.
They have too much oil because they were the pre-made deep fried chicken tenders.
Oh yeah, they already.
And all the fucking grease comes out of them and leaks into the stone, and then you just have a fuck stone from there on out. And no matter what, you get cheese on the stone, and like there's ice buildup on the pizza, and that gets in it. And so like you can't avoid it, but it was my rookie mistake on the first one to just put chicken on there thinking it was going to be like crispy as fuck.
Right. Yeah. Everything has its learning curves.
Right.
It's like when we did have the pizza stone, we had like a pizza peel too. And I didn't know that they basically use like a pizza, the like big paddle
flap, not flipper thingy.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So had one of those, and I didn't know that like pizzerias and everything like put what's essentially like cornmeal.
Yep.
On like
little
everything,
marbles,
so it like slides off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that shit. Like putting it into the pizza peel, and then you're like trying to do the whole thing, and you're like, and it doesn't move, and you're like, what the? And it's like stuck to your pizza peel, and then you're like doing even more work than you would have done before because you're trying to like pry it off to this thing that it's now stuck to, and you're like in the oven basically trying to do it. Like what is
You're burning the fucking hair off your knuckles, like so fucking hot.
These pizza peels are so stupid. Then you like get a second one, because the first thing is like not how did I do this wrong. It's like, oh, this one sucks.
This one sucks.
I knew I should, because you get like, I think the first one we had was metal. I was like, of course it doesn't work. It's metal. You gotta get wood, and it slides off of wood or whatever, and then like the wood sticks, and you're like, damn it, what the hell's going on here? And you're like, oh. When you watch the pizza, even when they make the crust, they got that stuff. They're like, and then
it's not just flour. It's flour and pizza and corn. Yeah.
That's how they're like spreading out the crust on the table, is because they have
why
that
it turns
stuff
and moves so easily.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't stick to the table.
Yep.
Because I've tried to do that stuff. You're trying to like push it around, and then it like doesn't move at all. So you're just like. Just like trying to spread it. Like I don't.
Yeah,
they make it look so damn easy on TV.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. If you don't get that one, you're not going to get that one on the audio. You're going to have to go see the video for that because it's just it's too hard to explain. You just like that is what happens. You just shit. And that speaking of the pizza peel, and that is like learn that grilling the raw pizza. By the way, is you could throw it on no problem. You just kind of get your hands underneath the pizza as it's been, stretched out and whatever, and you toss it right on the stone. Yeah, but now you toss it on the stone and it's huge and and now it's one piece. You can't put your hands on it anymore.
No.
And you can't grab the pizza stone because it's 550 fucking degrees.
Uh-huh. And it might shatter into a million pieces.
And it might shatter into a million pieces if you take it off the grill right now. Yeah, that was a learning curve. Getting the pizza off of the stone the first time, right? Because you cook the dough and then you take it off and then put the toppings on again. Yeah, that was a learning curve. We kind of stared at it for a little while. The first one got a little dark because we kind of just I went, yeah, it's done. It's done. Let's go.
Right.
And everyone kind of just stared at it for a little bit, like, oh right.
Yeah, what do we do?
So that's like a 12-inch square pizza or like 15-inch square pizza. What do we do now? Because spatula's not going to do that work.
Right.
We're just
try to loosen it up with a spatula, and then we're just quick with it. Hey, high hand. Oh, high hand.
We ended up with like 2 spatulas. One is a big grilling spatula. One's like the indoor metal spatula. 2 like plates or something like that. I think we had like 2 large plates, one in each hand. It was rather awkward.
I bet. Yeah, I've been there before though. You know, there's been other things that have happened. I can't think of any specifics, but where you're just I guess like a couple of these, flipping an omelet or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Get a couple of things like, and then,
just gonna try to do this with a couple utensils. It's gonna get weird, but whatever. I'll figure it out.
Yep.
The other thing we talked about in the last one is grilling fish with the skin on, and you had a really funny line. You're like, because we had talked about it early, how I usually lead us in.
Yeah.
And I say, here's what the first part is, here's what the second part is, hang in there with us. The funny thing is, like, you basically started out the episode, the grilling part of the episode, and you were like, if you just listen to the first half and you're getting over to grilling now, you're going to find out that I'm a fucking liar. Because you had grilled fish with the skin on before. It was salmon. Like, we had talked about it in between during the break, and then you just called yourself out. It was really funny. And that brought me to the other thing of, remember I wrote in, like I commented on Andrew Zimmer's Ask Me Anything, and he was just like, yeah, I don't know why we don't grill the whole fish.
All the fish, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do it this year, but it was just like, that's still something that I want to do. So I just want to bring it up in this again and be like, fuck, man, we could do that so easily. Like, one day we go fishing, get some fish. It's so simple.
Yep.
We could pull it off because we know what to do.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like we know what to do already.
Yep.
Just cut it open, gut it, stuff it full of herbs. Done.
Yeah, dude. We could totally do that. Yeah,
you're not intimidated by it at all, are you?
That's what they do overseas, man.
Right.
We just got to get the right kind of fish so we're not dealing with a bunch of bones. But
at
the same time, you can just pick around the bones, because I probably said it on that other episode. I know I brought it up someplace that, like, the trout are crazy bony. I want to say it's like lake trout or whatever.
Okay.
They have that extra bone in them when you're trying to eat it. Like you get the salmon fillets.
Yeah.
And that smoked salmon fillet, you can just like eat that right off the skin. Like, oh, it's all no bones, no nothing.
Right. Yeah.
And then I went into like the trout thinking it was the same thing. And I'm like scooping the fish off the skin, eating it. I'm like, oh, fucking like 10 bones in my mouth right now. They're just like picking out bones. So yeah, just got to make sure we got the right fish so we're not dealing with that kind of crap. But other than that, like, I'm not nervous about it at all anyways. You just got to know, when I know what kind of fish it is, I know where the bones are to mess with. I don't know shit about trout though. So that was another thing where I'm like, I guess trout just have bones everywhere, because like every bite has bones in it.
What is this, a fucking water snake? What's going on here?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But that's a really good point though. He's like, yeah, get the fish that you already know the
Yeah.
skeletal structure of, relatively speaking. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure, for sure.
exactly. Yeah, because like a
Good point.
northern might even be like having a pike
Sure.
might be a good one. Maybe not a pike. I take it back immediately. I don't want. I don't want to cook because I was thinking about like how like we could eat around the Y bone, and that's not the part that shied me away from it. The part that shied me away from it, thinking about it now, is like I don't want to leave that stinky ass skin on. That
Those
that's like
slimy bastards.
that's the worst one. It's just people know you're cooking fish from a mile away. They're just like, ugh, what are you
Oh,
making over there?
oh, it smells like gack over here. What is going on?
Right? It's just ugh, gross.
Did somebody light the set of Double Dare on fire? What is going on here?
Just
It's disgusting.
ugh. Your fish just get slimed. Yuck.
Ugh.
Yuck.
The last thing that I wanted to bring up is something that I forgot. I totally forgot. No. I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah.
Anything this year happen that you want to brag about, that you want to show off, hang out? I mean, you got your propane grill. So I mean,
yeah. Nah, man.
but like, did you do anything different? Like, not obviously not grilling a whole fish, but like anything crazy like that because you got propane now. Did that change anything?
No.
No.
I've had a pretty mundane year. Like I got the propane, and one thing that I learned is like you get the I haven't tried it on the charcoal yet, but I have like the grilling mats.
Oh,
I got
those
those
like
from
Teflon sheets, those Teflon rolls. Yeah.
just throw them down. You cook whatever you want on that thing.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that was like when it like led to some other ideas where like I made hamburgers and then I threw the cheese on them and I like covered it up and I left it a little bit too long where like the cheese melted a little bit too much
Okay.
and the cheese ran off and it's just like cooking and like browning perfectly on the Teflon sheet. And I'm like, oh shit, we might have stumbled onto some new territory. I can mess with this. So
Yeah.
I
Like
got some
these
ideas, but I didn't
cheapy
do
things.
anything. Yeah.
Oh,
So
dude, that's a sick idea.
yeah.
Because that's a
Well,
real
let's
thing. Like, what are those called? A cheese crisps or something? Like, I don't know.
yeah, cheese crisps. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
real
You
thing.
cook them up crisp one like that and then you just let them cool and then all of a sudden you just got like little hard cheese chips basically.
Oh,
And there's a
hell yeah.
Costco also has it's like a cast iron griddle plate that you can put on there. And on
Oh,
the one
yeah.
side it has like the grill grate so you
The
could like
grill
cook a
marks. Yep.
cheeseburger on there if you want.
Yep.
Or you flip it over and it's perfectly flat.
Yeah. We have
Like
one
I
of
could
those.
literally just like fry up eggs or whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
We have one of those.
It's
Yes.
it's dope. It would make it so versatile and like we're coming into fall, so maybe not the best time of year to be messing around with this depending on, what kind of temperature we're dealing with. But
Right.
sometimes it's not necessarily like what you're cooking or how you're cooking. It's just like where you're cooking. Like it's
Yeah.
just cool to be on the deck. I'm just outside cooking. I'm doing what I normally do, but
Yep.
instead of being inside, I'm getting like the
Right.
fresh air and I'm just like seeing people drive
Yeah.
by and you're just doing your thing in the backyard. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Yes. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. Yep.
Yep.
Full on. We
Cool
have the
shit.
side burner on ours and we totally
Oh yeah.
use that. Like, we're just like, oh no, we're gonna do fried veggies and burgers. Cool. Burgers on the
Yep.
grill, veggies in the cast iron on the side. Fucking
Oh
the
yeah.
whole thing's getting made outside. That's just how this is gonna happen. Yeah.
Nice. Yep.
Hell
Same.
yeah.
I got the side burner as well.
Nice.
It's like a 4 burner with the side burner.
Yeah, we have a same setup. Probably not the same grill, but yeah, similar setup. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
What brand
perfect.
is yours?
Char?
Charbroil. We have
Yeah,
the same grill.
We have the same grill then.
I bet we have the same grill.
Yep, we totally have the same grill then.
Yeah, nothing over the top, because I mean, it's like you go to the next step up, you're talking like $200-$300 more. Like, what do you get? What?
Right.
Yeah,
And you don't even get an extra burner or anything. It's just like,
yeah,
the next step up just like has different equipment in it. Like I
right.
don't know. I don't know how to
And
explain it.
maybe the next step up has like the one selling point they're not telling us, which is no spiders. Like, is that what? Just like $500, but no spiders, bro. And then you go, oh damn, dude. Yeah, should have just said that. I would have saved up.
$200.
I would have saved up.
Right. I would have waited a week. Fuck. I got a charcoal grill. I could have waited on this propane.
I didn't need to get it right away. Should say that in your ad. No spiders. What are you guys doing? You failed miserably. Just trying to tell me all the specs on it. Like, quit the mumbo jumbo. Spiders are no spiders, bro. Get to the point.
Oh, it's perfect. That is perfect. Let's do the old closer stuff here to oh yes. We are new to the so I guess I'll sum it up quick. Okay. Stitcher, Pandora, SiriusXM, they all apparently are the same thing now. I have no way of checking Sirius, so if you have a friend that has Sirius and they listen to podcasts on there,
yeah,
cool. See if they find us and let us know, because that'd be fucking crazy. I never thought about it before, but we're on all of that stuff now. That's new for us. It is over on realaf.tv. That's right, Real Like Fish and Real, the website where we have all of our stuff laid out right at the top there. The Patreon link, the YouTube link, the Google podcast link. We try to be everywhere that people listen to podcasts. So if we are not, please let us know. realaf.tv/contact Real Like Fish and Real. Don't forget that part. And our DMs are open on social media. Like and subscribe and review wherever you can. You know, that whole stuff. And comment.
Yep.
Comment on the YouTube video with the stuff that you are grilling or the stuff that you didn't get to grill. You know what? Even better. If you have one of those little grills and you bring it out on the ice and you're looking forward to grilling while ice fishing, fuck yeah. Share that with us, because that sounds sweet.
Yep. And let us know which kind. What are you rocking? Are you grilling little charcoal? You grilling the charcoal? You got one of those baby little ones? Or do you have that attachment where you turn your like your little propane heater into a grill? Because those are dope too. So let us know. Are you out there grilling, and what kind of grill? How you doing it? Let us know.
Yeah,
because I want to know. I want to do that stuff. Give us some tips.
I was gonna say, give us ideas so we can do that shit. Right? Sounds
yeah,
sick.
especially if you're using your heater, because I got that heater. That's coming with me. I got that.
Oh, right.
I don't know if I want to do like when you shut that heater down, then it cools down. You know, I don't know. Well, I suppose if you bring out a charcoal grill, there's snow and ice everywhere. Just throw it in the snow real quick. You cool it down fast. I was like, I don't know if I want to mess with that, because the heat, the residual, it'll stay. But if I throw it in the snow, I don't know. Let us know. Maybe you know more than I do about that stuff, and you're just like, snow doesn't work, bro. Or you're just like, yeah, that works when there's snow, but sometimes we just have ice.
Right.
That's a good point too.
Yeah.
You guys are thinking out there. I'm thinking for you to think for you to thinking. It's a crazy mind thinking.
There's a mind meld going on.
Mind meld. Let us know. Get in slide in our DMs.
Yes.
No, you don't have to do slide in DMs, but you can do the YouTube comments. I can't talk. I swear I didn't have that much to drink. I'm just over here I can't do it. My mouth is not working properly. My brain is all over the place with different things that we could possibly be grilling out on the ice. If you are doing it, let us know. That's the end. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. That's it. I'm done. I can't talk anymore. My brain is shutting down.
My brain is shutting. It's getting late over here. This has been the Real AF TV podcast, a show about fishing and random takes from land, towns, and lakes. I don't typically shut down the podcast like that, but I wanted to this time, just in case you're new to the podcast, just in case you are here and you're thinking about leaving, and I want that to stick in your brain so you come back later. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing